YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. You are now tuned to Briz. If you haven't already, go ahead and turn on your post notifications so you'll be notified whenever I upload my next video. And let's jump right in. So to start off this haircut, I want to start out by combing through the client's hair, checking for any imperfections or inconsistencies. It's always important to do this starting out, especially when you're dealing with new clients, because you never know if they may still have leftover product in their hair or uneven areas from a previous barber or stylist. As you can see, he's walking me through some of the imperfections of his haircut from his previous experience, and he's letting me know before we start the cut, so that's something I can keep into consideration when it comes to doing the shear work on top. So to get this haircut started, we're gonna start out with a lever midway open, and then we're gonna slowly close it. This is gonna be starting our first guideline as we go in and setting that foundation and working our way to the top. Alright, so as you know, same thing you do on the sides is the same thing we're gonna do in the back. Starting with that lever midway open, and we're gonna slowly close it, setting that first guideline down, and then working our way to the top. One thing to take note of whenever I am starting these guidelines or just blending in general, I like to make sure that I'm using that comb to my advantage to keep the hair laid down so that if there's any inconsistencies or uneven areas, I'm able to clearly see them. Same thing on this side as we did on the other side. Lever midway open, slowly close it, setting that first initial guideline, working our way to the top. So as you guys can see, I did just take the guard off. I'm following the same steps that I did with the guard on and getting ready to work my way up and create that second guideline so we can proceed with the next steps. Whenever I am setting these guidelines, I really do like to put emphasis and focus on creating a smooth, balanced foundation. So I do like to use the lever to my advantage and use that same flow of motion throughout that entire guideline that I'm setting. I do like to go on with the guard on sometimes, depending on the haircut, because it does give you a lot of room to work with, especially if you're new to cutting hair. So now I did put that number 1 guard on. We're gonna go up about a ½ an inch, setting that second guideline. As I mentioned earlier, I am putting a lot of emphasis on that comb. It really does help you to create a smooth, gradual transition because you're able to see and make sure that everything is balanced as you're setting those guidelines and blending upward. Now we're gonna go and do the same thing on this side as we did with the others. Go ahead and start with that lever midway open and then slowly close it to put in that second initial guideline. Alright, so here we're going to be focusing on bringing the overall blend together, starting from the middle, working our way to the top, and all the way back down to the bottom. Right now I have a 1½ guard on, kind of just cleaning up out that middle area, and then we're going to stretch it up to the top. So we're going to be stretching into a 2, and then we're going to be working our way back all the way down to no guard. This is probably the most important part of the haircut in any haircut because it really allows your work to stand out amongst other barbers and really puts emphasis on your skill set as a barber. Everybody's better at something, whether that's shear work, fading, or styling. There's many different ways to detail and critique your craft, but whatever that is for you, you want to make sure that you leave that signature on your client so that they can be sure to look forward to whatever it is that sets you apart from everybody else. Now, me personally, I really am, for the most part, well-rounded. As you're going to be seeing on my channel, I cut, anybody that has hair on their head, so white, black, Hispanic, it really doesn't matter. That's one way, and that's honestly one thing that was really important to me coming into this industry, was being able to be versatile and, being able to diversify my workload, because, what do I look like as a professional barber telling anybody or somebody that I'm not able to service them, whether it's because I'm not confident in, doing shear work or fading their texture of hair or being able to do a lineup or razor work. No. So with the schooling and the amount of practice and repetition I've been putting in throughout the years, this has really helped me to really diversify my clientele, which is something I really do believe really sets me apart alone. Not even talking about the skill set, but just the diversity that I'm able to attract into the shop is very important as a barber. And also, whenever it does come to blending and razor work and really sharp lines or natural lines, I perfect in that as well. This is really important as well, actually super important, especially if you're trying to stand out just in general, because not everybody is able to, cut all textures of hair. And with you being that one guy that knows how to do everything, it doesn't matter who walks in at what time. You can let them know, okay, well, if I have an opening on my booking, I'm able to take care of you. You don't even have to worry or, get anxious at all about who comes in the door, because you're able to take care of everybody. And then if you really put a lot of emphasis and a lot of attention to detail into your work on top of that, then it's a no-brainer. Like, you're a master barber at that point. I also want to mention this as well. With being a barber and being able to diversify your clientele, it really helps to open up the doors for a lot of opportunity, because now you're cutting people that you wouldn't normally cut if you weren't able to cut this specific type of hair. You know what I mean? So that's really useful and very helpful, especially if you have any future plans or you want to, collaborate or work with somebody in the future. It really does help with that. Outside of all of this, I am more than just a barber. As you continue on this journey with me, you'll see what I mean whenever I say that. However, though, I did want to share some with you guys just to get your mind to open up and analyze and self-reflect. You got two types of people in this world. People that blame others for what's going on in their life, and other people that take full accountability and responsibility for everything in their life. But just think about this though. Think about who you want to be and ask yourself, does it align to where you're at or who you see whenever you look in the mirror? If not, then why? I can never look at myself and be fully satisfied knowing I haven't accomplished everything I set out to be. Every day we have the opportunity to control what tomorrow will look like, and I won't stop until everything is exactly the way I've envisioned it in my mind. But even then, I still won't let up, because I know that there's so much more. I say that there's so much more because I've realized with putting so much emphasis and importance on myself, that I'm able to see clearly the people around me for who they truly are. This isn't a good or bad thing for yourself, but it really does help to evaluate everything at face value, seeing it for what it truly is. Everything, including every decision that's been led up into who they are in this very moment. You get to decide if these are people who are authentic to themselves based on the alignment or unaligned version of themselves, and decide if you want to move forward with that information. Whether it's obtaining more information or staying far away from the facade they're first convincing themselves to believe, and then trying to convince you into believing it as well. Some people are locked in their own mind and express to the world the version of themselves that only they believe. It's only self-delusion at that point, but it's not in alignment to who we're looking at and seeing every day. Deep down inside, there's someone that still hasn't been discovered because of the fear that's been controlling their mind from exceeding through every limitation that's been created upon themselves. Just knowing that who you are and who you want to be is out of alignment should be enough motivation to light a fuel in you that won't let out. Because if you won't, who will? The truth is, some, actually a lot, will never be recognizable to themselves or the people around them because they aren't desperate enough to figure out who that person is. They keep envisioning in their mind and why it isn't aligned with the person they see in the mirror. It gets to a point to where you can no longer stand being out of alignment with that version of yourself that you aspire to be, the version that you've always known to be, that nothing else will ever come before that, unless it's, of course, God. So anyways, guys, let's get back to the video. Yeah, man, so we're going back in with the BabyLiss FX trimmers, focusing on just keeping a real natural lineup before we go back in, using the razor and just really defining that lineup. Also, something to keep in mind as well is whenever I am using these trimmers, I'm using the corner of these blades to make sure that I'm able to really, define the usage of the blade instead of using the entire blade. It really helps you to be way more precise whenever you are dealing with these lineups, and you just want to be as accurate as possible. Before we get into the shear work, we are just spraying the hair down with some water, just so whenever you do go into it with the shears, you're able to have full control and really be able to maneuver throughout the hair a lot easier. As I am cutting my client's hair, I'm really making sure to pull the hair in the direction of his hair in whichever way it grows, but also in relevance to his head shape. That's the biggest difference in, making sure everything is balanced with the hair on top and making sure everything just transitions smoothly from top to bottom. Also, shear over comb is really important. Just getting all the little small hairs that you aren't able to get with the clippers, using clipper over comb, or even just the clippers with the guard, it really, really does help. As you guys can see, I am working from the back of the hair all the way back up into the front. I do this because with these kind of styles, the back has to be a little bit shorter, especially if they have a cowlick or hair just sticking out in the back. It's important to cut that a little bit shorter so that it transitions smooth all the way up into the front. So yes, whenever it comes to an overall very well blended haircut, you don't just want to focus on only the fade alone and blending the sides up into the top. You also want to focus on the top being well blended from the back all the way into the front. As you can see now, I am going in with my razor, just defining those edges, making them a little bit sharper. This right here is just some extra detail work that I like to do to really make the lineup stand out a little bit more than it would if I was just going with the trimmers. Now some people like just more of a natural look, some people like more of a sharper look. It really just depends on your client, but I've been cutting his hair for a while now and he really does like more of a sharper look, so that's why we went in with the razor. I like to go in with the blow dryer to get any, leftover hairs that are just lingering around on the client's neck or on his face, and just, clean it up a little bit. Cleanliness is next to godliness, so that's something that's really important. But I don't know about y'all, man, but this fade is looking pretty nice. Everything, all of the small details are really starting to stand out. As you can see, the taper, the lineup, even hitting it with the razor. And I like to even go back in detail even more to really just really hone in and define those edges, any imperfections. Like I said, this is the small things that really help your work really stand out from everybody else. So this is something that, like I said, is always one of the most important things of the haircut. YouTube, this is the cut. I'm glad that you guys stayed and watched the entire video. I really hope that you liked it. I hope that you learned something from it. If you haven't already, cut on your post notifications so you'll be notified whenever I upload my next video. And I'll see you guys in the next video.